top federal court official defended Judge James Boasberg's gag orders that hid subpoenas related to the FBI's Arctic frost investigation. This week, the official stated that the chief judge in Washington would likely have been unaware that the subpoena's intended targets were members of Congress. The Administrative Office for the Federal Courts indicated that the chief judge in D.C. routinely blindly signed gag orders when the Department of Justice requested them. This included during Arctic frost, the investigation that led to former Special Counsel Jack Smith bringing election charges against President Donald Trump. The Administrative Office's Director, Robert Conrad Jr., provided this explanation on behalf of Boasberg to Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Chuck Grassley, Republican Iowa. The letter, first obtained by Fox News Digital, came in response to Grassley, Senator Ron Johnson, Republican Wisconsin, and Representative Jim Jordan, Republican Ohio. They had demanded an explanation from Boasberg about why he authorized the one-year gag orders. These orders barred phone companies from telling Republican Congress members that their records were subpoenaed by Smith in 2023. Conrad said he could not address those specific subpoenas and gag orders, in part because some of the material was sealed. However, he could help the lawmakers understand relevant practices in place during Arctic frost. The DOJ's requests for gag orders, also known as non-disclosure orders, typically do not attach the related subpoena. Rather, they identify the subject accounts only by a signifier, such as a phone number. As a result, non-disclosure order applications would not reveal whether a particular phone number belonged to a member of Congress. Grassley reacted to the latest correspondence by faulting the Biden DOJ for seeking the gag orders without notifying the judge that they pertained to Congress members. He noted that the DOJ's Public Integrity section gave Smith's team the green light to subpoena lawmakers' phone records. However, they also told prosecutors to be wary of concerns lawmakers could raise about the Constitution's speech or debate clause. This clause gives Congress members added protections in prosecutorial matters. Smith went ahead with the congressional subpoenas anyway, and it appears he and his team didn't apprise the court of member involvement. Grassley told Fox News Digital that Smith's apparent lack of candor is deeply troubling, and he needs to answer for his conduct. The DOJ revised its policy in response to an Inspector General report in 2024. Prosecutors were then required to notify the court if they were seeking a gag order against a Congress member. This allowed judges to take that into consideration when deciding whether to authorize the orders. Smith's subpoenas predated that policy shift. The subpoenas and gag orders have drawn enormous criticism from the targeted lawmakers. They alleged that the Biden DOJ improperly spied on them over their alleged involvement in attempting to overturn the 2020 election. They also claimed that Boasberg was complicit in allowing it. Among the top critics is Senator Ted Cruz, Republican Texas, who is set to lead a since-postponed hearing examining the case for impeaching Boasberg. Impeachment of judges is exceedingly rare and typically has only occurred in response to crimes like corruption and bribery. Johnson said he remained unsatisfied with Boasberg after the letter from the Administrative Office. He stated that Boasberg's refusal to answer questions is an affront to transparency and an obvious attempt to deflect responsibility. Johnson demanded that Judge Boasberg immediately lift the seal preventing him from addressing Congress's questions and provide a full explanation. Public documents reveal that Boasberg authorized numerous gag orders blocking phone companies from telling about a dozen House and Senate lawmakers that Smith had subpoenaed their phone data. Smith had sought a narrow set of their records, which included details about when calls and messages were placed and with whom the Congress members were communicating. The records did not include the contents of calls and messages. Smith has defended the subpoenas, saying they were in line with department policy and entirely proper.